אני צפרה מהספרייה הלאומית. אני מנהלת את פרויקט הדיגיטציה של כתבי היד העבריים. במשך מאות ואלפי שנים יהודים כתבו את ההיסטוריה שלהם, את הידע הדתי שלהם, כולל תפילות, מנהגים, ידע מדעי, ידע מתחומים רבים ושונים במסמכים ובכתבי יד. כתבי יד האלה נדדו מארץ לארץ, מיבשת ליבשת, עד שהגיעו לאוספים של ספריות גדולות ולאוספים של אספנים פרטיים. ב-1950 דוד בן גוריון, ראש הממשלה הראשון של מדינת ישראל, הבין את הצורך באיסוף כל כתבי היד האלה כאן בירושלים. הוא הבין שאי אפשר לאסוף את כל כתבי היד פיזית, ולכן הקים את המכון לצילומי כתבי יד, שהיום הוא חלק חשוב מאוד בספרייה הלאומית, שהצליח להגשים את החזון של בן גוריון ולאסוף קרוב ל-95% מכל כתבי היד הידועים ברחבי העולם. האוסף הזה משמש כיום למחקר בתחום של היסטוריה של הטקסט והיסטוריה של ההקשר התרבותי בו נוצרו הטקסטים האלה. עם ההתפתחות המדעית והטכנולוגית בשימור, בגישה ובחיפוש, תצוגה של חומרים דיגיטליים, החליטה הספרייה הלאומית לחדש את אוסף כתבי היד. רגע, עכשיו... אתה... אוקיי, יופי, מצוין. לא, בסדר. לשם כך יזמה הספרייה את פרויקט הספרייה הדיגיטלית של כתבי היד העבריים. המטרה של פרויקט זה היא לסרוק, לצלם מהמקור או ממיקרופילם כ-70,000 כתבי יד עבריים הידועים כיום בעולם, והם מפוזרים בכ-1,200 אוספים, ספריות ואוספים פרטיים בעולם. היעד הסופי הוא להנגיש אותם לציבור באופן כללי. החזון של הספרייה כולל פיתוח פלטפורמה שתאפשר גישה חופשית לכל משתמש, חוקר או פרטי, מכל מוסד וכל בית ברחבי העולם. מנוע חיפוש מתוחכם שיאפשר להגיע לכל אחד מכתבי יד על פי מאפייניו הפיזיים וההקשר ההיסטורי שבו הוא נוצר. צפיין משוכלל שיאפשר צפייה בכתב היד השלם, בדפים בודדים, ויכלול כלים שיאפשרו עיבוד ומחקר על הטקסט ועל התמונות שבכתבי היד. גישה חופשית לכולם תוך שיתוף והתייעצות עם משתמשים ברחבי העולם. במקביל מפתחת הספרייה פרויקטים דיגיטליים שיפנו לקהלים שונים ומגוונים, והם מבוססים על התכנים של כתבי היד. פרויקטים אלה כוללים תוכניות לימודים לבתי ספר יסודיים ותיכוניים, וכן לבתי ספר לעיצוב, תערוכות שהאוצרים שלהם יהיו אנשי תוכן של הספרייה או משתמשים של פלטפורמת כתבי היד, ופרויקטים מכווני מחקר כמו תיעתוק ותיוג שישתמשו בטכניקות של משחוק וקראוד סורסינג כדי למשוך קהלים מהציבור לפתח את התחומים האלה. היום הספרייה מחפשת שותפים, ספריות, אספנים, תורמים כדי להצטרף לפרויקט הבינלאומי הזה. כל שותף יזכה לדיגיטציה של האוסף שלו, הוא יקבל תמונות באיכות גבוהה של כתבי היד, חשיפה בינלאומית ושימור ארוך טווח דיגיטלי של כתבי היד שלו. תודה רבה.
I'm Frank Mecklenburg, the Chief Archivist and Director of Research of the Baeck Institute in New York, and I'm presenting here a part of our digital collection. We have DigiBaeck is kind of our brand name of our digital holdings, and here we are presenting the German Jewish periodicals, which are part of the larger holdings. There are a number of different categories of papers, some of them produced in exile, Shanghai, but also about cultural organizations. There are newspapers about Zionist organizations in Germany and also Jewish community newsletters. we have digitized a lot of newspapers in their entirety, where we have the entire run. For instance, among the exile newspapers is the paper Aufbau that was published since 1934 in New York and has been a worldwide organ for the refugee community until it went under in 2004. And it's fully digitized and can be word searched on the internet. But we also now have come to digitize periodicals that are not complete, and where we have been trying with other libraries to find a full run of these papers, but it seems that there is no complete set anywhere or could be combined between libraries.
Hello, my name is Robin Nobel, and I am the Senior Grants Officer at the Rothschild Foundation Hanadiv Europe. I'm here at the Judaica Curators Conference to present the Yerusha project, which was launched by the foundation in 2014. The Yerusha project is to survey Jewish collections across Europe, and those are particularly collections that are not held in Jewish archives per se, but might be held in state and regional archives. So far, we have done surveys in 13 different countries, and our method has been to go shallow and broad. So we want to cover an entire country in quite a shallow way, rather than go into one archive in a deep way. The other things to say are that we're working on creating a portal to present this information, and that portal will be held at the National Library of Israel. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
I'm the director of the Documentation and Information Center on Argentine Jewry, on the name of Mark Turkov, that exists in AMIA, the AMIA building, where it is the building of the Jewish community, the most important Jewish community, the institution in Buenos Aires, that is celebrating its 120th anniversary now. So we have this documentation center since more than 20 years now, because it was understood that many of the materials that AMIA had were related to Jews in Argentina. And it was important for us to show how come that Jews get to Argentina, how did they settle, what organizations did they build, how much they became part of the Argentine society. So what did we do? We looked in all our archives, and we found actually more than 20,000 pictures, photos that we digitalized and that we have now ready to share with others. We have made more than 500 interviews, knowing about the histories, personal histories of people that told us how did they arrive and what they created since. We have worked a lot about the Jewish agricultural colonies, that very interesting experience, not shared with other countries, except Israel, of course. What happened there, that they came and they became the Jewish gauchos, riding horses and raising cattle and all those things. We have periodicals. We have an important archive of also what institutions are, telling about what institutions in Argentina, how they grew. We also prepared a lot of materials to help people in the research. We have created in our page specific centers with materials, for example, related to the bombing of AMIA. 20 years ago, there was a terrible bombing that destroyed almost the building, killed 85 people, and for us, it's an important moment in our history. And that's why we keep a very full and complete archive about what happened there, what the media said about that, what the relatives are telling all the time, what were the histories of those 85 people, and most of all, how we do every year and homage to them, and what does it mean for the general society. So all those things also come in a very important moment when, like in this conference, we are sharing what is going on in every place about keeping the history of the Jewish people, the history of a minority integrating into a society, how they lived, how they do the new generation lives. What does it mean to be a Jewish Argentine? What is the place of Israel? The special relation the Jews had with Israel. They came from many places of Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and they came with a Zionist idea in their minds and in their lives. And they also built a strong belonging to the country in Argentina. So this feeling together with other histories makes this center an important one. There we have people that come and look for materials in our premises. Now that we are online through our page, www.amia.orh.ar. We can also share whatever we do and we have with a lot of people in the world. We hope that this is also a way of connecting with others and letting others know what this center, with this ongoing project, has to tell to the story of Jews in Argentina.
Hi, my name is Chezki Kasnet. I manage the digital programs at the National Library of Israel. What we're looking at behind me is one of the flagship projects of the National Library, a project called the Historical Jewish Press. And what the project focuses on is the historical newspapers from all around the world that are of Jewish origin. The project is a fantastic, exciting project. It's been running now at the library for about 6 years. And it includes today almost 1.5 million pages of digitized Jewish newspaper content, about 116,000 issues from 8 different countries and in 15 different languages. It's a project, an ongoing project. We add about 200 to 300,000 pages of content a year. And again, from all around the world in numerous languages. It is one of the leading projects of its type globally because we are always testing new language. For example, we were one of the first to have dived into Yiddish. We are now working on Ladino. So these are new languages that have not really been previously digitized as far as newspapers are concerned. And in the context of this project, we are tackling these new types of newspapers, these new languages, and adding them systematically to the project. So the project is a very rich source of information for the researcher, for the average individual who wants to use this valuable resource of information. Of course, all the text is OCR'd, so all of the content in the site is fully searchable. You can search it textually. We also as well have additional tools that allow, for example, comparison of different search results and see how statistically search results appear over time. So it's a fascinating website, and it can be accessed at www.jpress.org.il. Thank you.
שלום, שמי דודו אמיתי, אני מנהל מרכז התיעוד והחקר של השומר הצעיר, ארכיון יד יערי בגבעת חביבה. הפרויקט שלנו הוא פרויקט ארוך שנים, והוא מתנהל תחת הכותרת להוציא את הארכיון מן הארכיון. הארכיון שלנו, שהוא הארכיון של תנועת הנוער הציונית החלוצית הכי ותיקה בעולם, שמלאו לה 100 שנה בשנה שעברה, מחזיק אוספים גדולים וחשובים, ביניהם ארכיונים אישיים, אוספים אומנותיים, אוספים דוקומנטריים, חומר חשוב על הקמת מדינת ישראל, מלחמת העולם השנייה, תנועות הנוער, מחנה השלום ועוד ועוד. מאז ומתמיד דגלנו בגישה שהחומר הזה חייב להיות נגיש לכל הציבור, לא רק לציבור של חברי התנועה וחברי הקיבוץ הארצי, אלא גם לציבור הכללי בכלל. ואנחנו החלנו למשל בסריקת תמונות כבר לפני 15 שנה. הקטלוג שלנו נמצא ברשת, באתר חלוצי שמציג את הקטלוגים של הארכיונים המרכזיים של התנועה הקיבוצית. אנחנו משתפים פעולה עם מוסדות שונים בסריקה, דיגיטציה והנגשה של החומרים שלנו, ביניהם הספרייה הלאומית, יד ושם, מוזיאון השואה בוושינגטון, מכון שנקר לחקר ותיעוד העיצוב בישראל, העלאת ארכיוני העיתונות שלנו, וכולל גם חומרים של החברה הערבית בישראל, במסגרת שיתוף פעולה חלוצי עם אונסקו, ועם הפדרציה הבינלאומית של הספריות הלאומיות. העלינו חלק חשוב מאוד מארכיון העיתונות הערבית המוקדמת שאצלנו, שזמין ברשת. הפרויקט הבא שלנו, שמגיע עתה לסיומו, הוא הוצאת אוסף הדגלים הגדול והמרהיב שלנו כספר המתאר את 100 שנות התנועה בצורה גרפית וויזואלית. האוסף הוא מונה למעלה מ-700 דגלים מכל שנות התנועה ומכל קצווי העולם, ואנחנו מתכוונים להמשיך הלאה עד שנעלה את כל חומרי הארכיון לרשת לטובת הציבור בארץ ובעולם.
I'm Kinga Dévény from Budapest, from the Library and Information Center of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. In the poster, I wanted to present 3 outstanding figures in our Judaic collections: David Kaufman, Ignaz Goldziher, and Alexander Schreiber. All 3 of them collected very valuable items which relate to the history of the Jewish people and Jewish heritage in general. So Kaufman collected valuable manuscripts and old printed books, and the project was to devote a web page to within our collections to his collection and his life. He was an outstanding scholar. In the last year, we managed to digitize all the letters addressed to the famous scholar of the at the end of the 19th century, Ignaz Goldziher. More than 13,000 letters have been digitized and cataloged. So these are available full text online for everybody to research. The letters are in various languages, including Hebrew and Arabic, English, German, Hungarian. And the third person is Alexander Schreiber. He was a very great scholar and rabbi and director of the Jewish Theological Seminary. And it's our next task to digitize his archive.
My name is Giselle Levy, and I am the responsible of the area of the institute, which is called the Centro Bibliografico UCEI, which is a library and an archive, quite important on the national level, because it contains a lot of material, which is historical material specialized on Jewish Italian history. We have a lot of books of the 16th century and 17th, 18th and the 19th century. Many of the books that we have came back to the historical rabbinical library that has been robbed by the Nazis during the Second World War in Italy. And we have also an archive, which is quite important because it is studied especially for knowing the situation of the history and the life of the Jews in Italy, in all the areas of Italy, in all the towns in Italy. You can see that in the first image we have one of the ketubot. We have a collection of ketubot. There are about 50. They come from Senigallia, which is a small town where there was a Jewish community which disappeared today. Those ketubot are of the 19th century, and they are important because they were prepared about 150 years ago, exactly during the period when Italy was unified 152 years ago now. And also the Jews, this is important because also the Jews took part to the wars for liberating Italy, which was divided into many counties, and became unified. The Jews of Italy, as we can see from the archive, also took part in the First World War, trying to liberate Italy because they believed that Italy would become a country, a unified country, giving them liberty. They were coming out of the ghetto in those very years, really in that period, and of course for them it was very important to show that they belonged to Italy. So we have an archive which is very important because whoever wants to know how did the Jews live, they can find a lot of material in our place. We have also several artistic stuffs like a mezuzah, which is done by Ariella Baum, which she's an artist who is still living in Rome. And then we have a beautiful wood dome painted by Lele Luzzati, who was a very famous, he died about 5 years ago, and who was a very famous painter for theater especially. And we have many new projects like the virtual museum tour, which is a project which I worked for knowing the Jewish museums, especially with portable devices like iPhone and Android, which has a special aim. The aim is to make you curious. As soon as you see that this museum exists, you want to see it because you start with a virtual tour and then you want to go inside because you see beautiful things. Then we have other projects like, for instance, the digitization of the magazines, another project which I'm working for. Those are periodicals of the 19th century, which are very much studied in that period, in this period, because people who study Jewish history coming from universities, not Jewish people, I mean, everybody is studying this kind of history. They are very much interested in knowing how did the Jews, how were the Jews linked to the society outside, and they just came out of the ghettos in this period 150 years ago, and of course they were melting with the population of the world. That's more or less. We don't have so much stuff. We are quite small, but we are important in a national level because there is only us. Only we are a national center for Jewish studies.
My name is Heide Warnke. I'm the executive curator of Etzraim Livraria Montesinos. It's located in Amsterdam, and it's the oldest still functioning Jewish library in the world. At the moment we're digitizing our manuscript collection. It's about 600 manuscripts that we have, and it's accessible through the internet. So that's really important for researchers around the world and people who are interested in the collection. We also have 25 to 30,000 printed books, and all of them will be catalogued. We're busy cataloging them. So it will take a few years, but then they will also be available through the internet.
Hello, I'm Lena Stanley-Clamp. I'm from the European Association for Jewish Culture, and we are based in London. And I am the coordinator of a project called Judaica Europeana. In fact, it's more than a project. It's a network of institutions and collections in Europe, but also in USA and in Israel. And the National Library of Israel, for instance, is one of our main partners. We work closely also with the university in Frankfurt on Main. The project consists on integrating the data of other institutions' collections and bringing them to this one central point, Europeana. Europeana is a portal and a technology platform for museums, libraries, and archives in Europe. We've already uploaded about 3.7 million objects to Europeana. Europeana itself holds something like 32 million, with some 3,000 individual content providers already in this huge portal. We are currently working on the collections of the Jewish Theological Seminary, meaning mapping the cataloging data to the Europeana data model. Of course, it's getting a little bit technical, but the the aim of the whole project is that to make the collections easily visible to the public. There's so much digital material already available, but it helps the user to find it in one central point, such as Europeana. And our role is to coordinate the Jewish content for Europeana.
My name is Stefan Wimmer. I'm curator for Hebrew at the Bavarian State Library in Munich. And we have, I think, remarkable collection of Hebrew manuscripts and books. Our library was founded more than 400 years ago in 1558 by the Bavarian dukes. And they used to buy Hebrew books when they appeared. So the early printings from Venice, Bomberg printings, and so on were bought when they were new, when they came out. And since then the collection was expanded, and thank God the collection survived everything that happened in Germany in the 20th century. And today we have about 650 Hebrew manuscripts, 17 incunabula. And we have been in the process of digitization. A quarter of our Hebrew manuscripts have been digitized. The first Hebrew manuscript we digitized back in 1997, quite early, was the famous Munich manuscript of the Bavli, of the Babylonian Talmud. I think our most precious book we have at all at our library.